The Trooping of the Colour with Porky, Rowdy and Friends. From the book, A Tale of Two Kitties. It's the royal events that make a cat proud to be British, said I, Rowdy, reminiscing what my dear old dad, Mildew, used to say before his accident. Even as a small cat, there is nothing I liked better than the occasional bit of flag waving now and then. Most of you will have watched the royal wedding on the telly, but many had never had the view that I had. I was 3 rows away from Her Royal Highness herself, sitting under a pew reserved for foreign visitors, having arrived under the hem of the King of Tonga's caftan. Not the most elegant entrance I've ever made, but better than a slap in the face with a wet fish. So when I heard it was time for the Queen's birthday, I decided it was about time that the little drip, called me, the white fur, got a taste of his heritage. His heritage? Well, I'm not sure about that, because Tiddly O'Reilly told me the other day that most cats with long white fur come from a town in Mexico called Chinchilla, which is exactly what his lordship is according to his passport. Mexican. I always thought it was odd the way he likes dancing on hats at parties. So he's probably called Pepe or something like that. So I took him along to the Trooping of the Colour. And that's when all the guardsmen and their horses troop around with the band playing rousing tunes, and the Queen sits on a horse in a yummy red outfit and salutes them as they all go past. I've been several times, although last year I didn't go because it was a bit hot. So I went swimming at the Putney Baths instead, which wasn't very royal, but an overheated cat is unhappy as a cold one. Rowdy and I got into position before the Queen had left the palace. We were standing next to the biggest brass band ever, right next to a big white horse with 2 drums on either side of its back. I'm none too keen on these musical types myself. A bit arty, I think, but it was a terrific view. "Huo there, how's he?" cried Rowdy right in the horse's ear hole. The horse completely ignored him. He obviously had a bit of sense. "Were you here last year?" I asked the horse, thinking he looked like he needed some intelligent conversation after seeing Rowdy. The horse totally ignored me too. He's a bit rude, I thought. Then the Queen rode into view with a big red feather stuck in the front of her hat. She looked fab. "I can't see Porky," says Rowdy immediately. What can you expect? He's the shortest cat in South London. So when no one was looking, a soldier nearby lifted us up and placed him on the horse's shoulder so he could sit to watch everything. And the horse still ignored us both. Jolly odd. Maybe he doesn't like cats. No, I dismiss that theory. No one can ever not like cats. We're so sweet. I decided that he was waiting for the moment that the man on his back was going to bang his drums in a fierce fashion. The band went past the first time, and they all saluted the Queen and her feather. Then they all went round again and again. I knew this time he'd have to bang his drum with a bong. Then out of the blue, the guardsman banged his golden drum with a bong, bing, bang. It was really totally unexpected, I must tell you. Rowdy nearly fell off the horse's shoulder, which pleased me no end. But he must have given the soldiers rather a shock. He did it again. Bang, bong, bing. Without any good reason. It certainly didn't fit in with any of the tunes that were playing. This time even the Queen turned around and stared hard at the drummer. Her red feather was quivering a bit, and I noticed that with my evil eyes. Was the man deaf? Maybe the pair of them were. They both ignored Rowdy and me earlier on for no good reason, and now they were banging that drum like there was no tomorrow. I was worried, I can tell you, especially with Her Royal Highness glaring across at us all, and that drummer on the verge of another uncalled for burst of banging at any moment. Pokey, Pokey, why has this horse got woolly things stuffed in its ears? Piped out Rowdy from the horse's left shoulder. This bit of information called for extra investigation. I peered into the horse's lug holes. For reasons best known to himself, he had wads of cotton wool stuffed into them. No wonder he couldn't hear anything. Then, risking life and limb for Queen and country, I climbed up on the drummer's arm, had a look in his ears as well. Not a pretty sight. He'd even more cotton wool in his, so I gave them a tug. While I was tugging at his ears, I was jolly glad the guardsman wasn't allowed to move while on parade, or else that might have given him a quick thump for all my trouble. The minute all the wool was out of his ears, he turned to me. Now that's against the rules, but this was an emergency. And he said, "Did I bang in the wrong place, old chap?" "You jolly well did," I told him. The guardsman explained that he and his horse, called Hotsy, had all the wool in their ears so they wouldn't get headaches from all the cheering from the crowds. But he'd forgotten to pull it out when they'd arrived at the parade ground, and that's why he kept banging his brass drum in the wrong bits of the tunes. "I feel a frightful blighter," he said, looking very unhappy indeed. "Just make sure it doesn't happen again," I hissed. That's, risking life and limb again, as I climbed off of his shoulder. The rest of the royal parade went very well, and the drumming came in the right places, thanks to my quick thinking. And I'm so glad that he didn't give me a whack as well for all the trouble I went through. And I suppose it's also thanks to him over there for noticing the cotton wool in the first place. But that's between you and me. One big head in our house is enough for anyone. When the colour had been trooped, the guardsman and Hotsy asked us if we'd like a ride on Hotsy's back to the barracks, followed by a smashing tea as a reward for us saving the day for Her Royal Highness and her red feather. Of course, I said, "Yes, please, sir." I thought it might have Rowdy having a good idea and maybe, thinking about running away from home and join the army. But no such luck. But he did share his eclair with me, so I think some of my good influence must be rubbing off on him.